Mr. President, Mr. Secretary General, dear delegates, we gather here in Helsinki at a time of great turbulence. We are faced with an interesting paradox. The European economy has done very well over the past 4 years, yet at the same time populism is on the rise. The new wealth that has been created has not been spread evenly. And our citizens feel disenchanted. They fear that many will be left behind as the tectonic plates of technological disruption bend the arc of history. They also resent that the European way of life is under threat by mass illegal immigration. We have to listen to their legitimate concerns. Throughout its history, our big political family has always been able to adapt to changing times, and we shall do so again. I stand here before you today to assert that not only can populism be beaten, but that the center-right, our political family, has a very bright future in front of it. The case of Greece and of my party, Nea Dimokratia, is the best proof that this can be done. Greece is an interesting case study for all of us because it was the first country to actually elect the populists to power. What have they done since? Not only did they ravage the economy, they delivered virtually zero growth over the past 4 years, but they have also proved to be a real threat to the rule of law and to the quality of our democracy. And we will defeat them in the next election. We will defeat them not only because they have failed miserably, but also because we have changed. We have modernized our party, but most importantly, we have offered our citizens realistic solutions to address the concern of our people, solutions that go beyond the traditional cleavages between the right and the left. And we believe that we will usher in a new era that will be defined by the politics of post-populism. This is exactly what we need to do at the European level. But in order to remain the leading political force in Europe, we have to talk about how Europe as a whole can have a real impact on people's lives. And I believe that we need to focus, as the EPP, our policy proposals on 3 main themes. First, how do we innovate and create better jobs, in particular for our youth, who remain disenchanted and remain distanced from politics? Second, and an issue which is particularly relevant for Greece as a border country, how can we protect as a whole our borders from illegal immigration? And how can we make our citizens feel safe again from terrorism? And third, how do we pool our resources? How do we combine our resources to address the colossal twin challenges of our times: climate change and technological disruption? Does anyone in this audience really believe that any member state on its own can compete with China when it comes to artificial intelligence? We know that we are stronger together. Yet we must also acknowledge that there are formidable forces that want to tear us apart. And 100 years after the end of the First World War, we should never forget that for a significant part of the 20th century, Europe was a dark continent. And let us never confuse nationalism with patriotism. For the first is a recipe for disaster, while the second is a necessary prerequisite for finding the right balance between what we can achieve at the national and at the European level. Mr. President, an election battle is all about teamwork, but it's also about leadership. And we have two fantastic candidates who will be presenting their case to our Congress in an hour or so. And I am sure that whomever the delegates choose, he will be the right person to lead our party towards victory and Europe towards a better and a brighter future. Thank you very much.